Alright, so I went on the actual internet, not an app, to record some of this video because no one's looking at the links. Alright, we need to prevent this from happening to our area. You need to stop it from happening in your area. Um, so I'm going to record a couple videos. I don't own the rights to them. I don't have explicit permission to use them. Okay, but I see it as, well, if you're sitting next to me, or all you sit next to me, if this is in a room and there's more people, that I could just type in the link and we're all right to watch it. So I think it falls under common use, all that stuff. But again, I explicitly say I do not own the rights or have permission by anyone to record these videos. So, since I've admitted to putting my hand in the cookie jar, by guidelines, this is completely alright to do. Um, so yes, these are going to be 3 videos. Well, I guess 1 video for you. I don't know how long it's going to be. You will. There will be a timestamp. This is what I'm exactly trying to prevent in my area. I've been talking about it, and we can see that the date of this is June 25th of 18. Hundreds of years ago for the people that are actually watching this. And I've been saying this is our future. You know, we're not a unique, beautiful snowflake. And the politicians are doing the same thing that California did. They have about a quarter of the world's homeless, and among the highest living costs. You know, there's a correlation there. Our living costs are being raised, if not by tax percentage, just by the sheer amount. Because if it stays the same percentage, but the things that calculate the tax go up, well, it's going to increase anyway. It just won't be increasing by percent. Um, and I wouldn't have any right to say anything if it stayed between the landowner and the contractor, but it doesn't. All right, politicians have to approve the development. Then, on top of that, what our politicians are doing, clearly around the world, is using our tax funds for those developments that will later increase our taxes. You know, more roads, more money you have to spend on road taxes. You know, it increases that way, and then the property values perceivably. I don't think they increase in value, but it's perceived value. And what's happening is politicians clearly plan to completely crap on the floor, crap where they sleep, then move on to another area. You know, when it gets too bad, they're going to move somewhere else and destroy it as well. That's seemingly what Covey has done. She lived here for the minimal amount of time, became a commissioner, and has been fucking us ever since. You know, and I mean, they're crapping where they sleep. That's what animals fucking do. Actually, some animals don't even do that. You know, it's not even parasitic, it's a virus. Infected one person, destroyed that environment, because your body's an environment, and then move on to the next host. You know, a virus just multiplies and destroys. Parasite, well, I mean, there's some parasites you can live with. But yeah, so I'm not going to watch the whole video, this one, but, you know, is what it is.
San Francisco is one of the richest cities in the world, and it's got to be in one of the 2 or 3 prettiest. It's really, really pretty. But you can't really live there anymore. We aired a video last night that showed vagrants shooting up or lying passed out in their own vomit in the middle of a BART, a train station, right downtown outside the Civic Center, 2 blocks from Twitter headquarters. Local reporters have found needles and human feces on every single block in downtown San Francisco. One estimate says that the city spends about $30 million a year just cleaning up needles and human waste. As an added bonus to this, the city is suffering from an epidemic of car break-ins. There are more than 30,000 of those.
Our car break-ins are increasing because there's a whole bunch of people from California and New York moving here. All right, when a massive amount of people move to a new area, they bring their problems with them, whether they know it or not. And I've told the politicians this. There's clearly people staking out cars so they can break into them for whatever reason they want. Go for a joyride or what have you. There's now people not, oh, I need a car, I need some money. No, this the way it seems is that there's people that are professional carjackers. It means they do it for a living. They don't do it because they need something right there. It's their job. But these politicians don't care because, oh, we're going to make a total mess of things because that's easy to do. It requires no effort. And anybody who says anything against that is horrible, and we're going to go after them and make their lives miserable.
Last year.
How's it going out there, folks? Today I've got a couple of pretty good articles about San Francisco I want to share with you. Now, we all know San Francisco's got a major homeless epidemic, and we all know that the people that reside in San Francisco have the special ability to vote the dumbest, most irresponsible, and unqualified politicians they can into office. I kind of imagine them to be like that stupid, entitled, rich chick that was in every 80s and 90s high school romantic comedy. I mean, how else do you come up with some of these bullshit policies? Let me get this straight. You got one of the most expensive places in the United States to live, right? You have a homeless epidemic. I mean, we're talking encampments going on. So you basically bless them to live on the streets downtown around some of your most popular attractions and highest revenue grossing businesses in the area. That in itself is dumb enough. But no, that's not.
California, well, I think it was specifically San Francisco. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Lost possibility of like $80 million a year from some medical company. They went there and go, huh, there's crap everywhere. There's needles everywhere. It's not profitable.
Close to what the hell is really going on. No. Since we have a heroin epidemic, what we're going to do to fix the problem is we're going to hand out over 6 million syringes per year. And because they might feel uncomfortable shooting their...
I kind of disagree with this guy right here about this. All right, the people that are addicted to drugs are going to get what they feel they need one way or another. They find a needle on the ground, they don't care the state of that needle. All right, or the almost endless possibilities of what could be on or in that needle. It's a free needle. They need a fix, and they're going to use it. All right, so providing clean needles prevents them from further going to the hospital because they go in the hospital. Clearly, they can't pay, but they can't be refused, which again I agree with. But but that's more money that the hospital has to spend out of pocket on this person because they picked something funny up out of the from the needle use that was very dirty. Then they have to increase the prices of their services to make up for the cost of losing money from that one person getting sick off that needle. It, there's some places that charge for $500 a stitch. Or to put that in perspective, I went looking online for real medical stitches, where it's one stitch per package, or something like that. You might be able to get two out of it. But it's a needle, the string, that is it. All sanitized. There you go. You can get like 500 of them for less than $500. So that one stitch, or the entire pack of stitches, is paid for just by selling one stitch. So I think it seems, at least in my experience, the average amount of stitches for those that need them is 3. So that's $1,500 stitches. That could pay for 3 boxes of stitches. It is pretty much worth it to go buy your own medical supplies, your own stitches, or sorry, sutures. Um, and go, well, I'm injured. Hey, go get a handful of these. Go, no, use these. You know.
Heroin in public with their faces, screaming and running all over the sidewalk.
This is where aggressive people are approaching.
Then a murder scene. Wife is scared to leave the hotel now. Reads a Wednesday post by a Reddit user. Containing a certain standard, but there is rampant drug dealing out in the open in some of the most heavily toured areas. The city knows about this. They just don't care. You see things on the street that are just not humane. Kevin Carroll, executive director of the Hotel Council of San Francisco, said, people come into hotels saying, what is going on out there? They're just shocked. People say, I love your city, I love your restaurants, but I'm never coming back. In a completely separate thread, another Reddit user posted in the San Francisco subreddit, why is this city so terrifying? Another replied, I've wanted to visit San Francisco my entire life, and I finally make it here, and my God, it's terrifying. Anyone have any advice for a tourist other than don't be such a pussy? Says Joe D'Alessandro, president of San Francisco Travel, to the Chronicle in April. I've never seen any other city like this. The homeless, dirty streets, drug use on the streets, smash and grabs, end quote. The city, which hands out about 6 million syringes each year, has struggled to figure out how to keep streets clean and safe for residents, while accommodating a growing homeless population and long-standing HIV and hepatitis C epidemic. There are roughly 16,000 residents in San Francisco and failed to come up with such a document. Is it real? I hate to keep stopping, but just can't help myself. I guarantee if you went to the airport, BART station, or Pier 39, you're gonna run into some fucking feces. Oh, and FYI, if you don't want your kids to learn exactly how to inject heroin into their bloodstream, don't ever take them through the BART station. In November of 2014, web developer Jennifer Wong won a Hack Week contest at her job with Human Wasteland, an interactive map that plotted locations of...
Alright, that is where the crap map comes from. Alright, they literally had a map that is out of date. Where to find it. Well, where to avoid it.
Safe space. When will the madness stop?
Not homeless 5 years ago, but what we did was we abandoned a homeless policy.
Oh, okay. Let's try find this.
Time we see the shadows of the communist Chinese Air Force flying above us. I want to thank you fine folks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment down below, and until next time.
Joe Alioto Veronese is running for DA of San Francisco, and he joins us tonight. Joe, I know you're a lifelong resident of that city, of course. That's right. And I sort of wonder how the people in charge, as they commute on BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit, don't notice the junkies shooting up in the station. What do they think when they pass those people doing that?
Well, we've reached a point in San Francisco. I think it's really a threshold point where it's not just at BART. You can walk down Market Street, as you mentioned, right. Twitter, the new district down there that was non-existent about 10 years ago, but because the tax break brought all of the Twitter people in at higher incomes and pushed a lot of people out onto the street. 70% of the people that are homeless in San Francisco were actually not homeless 5 years ago. But what we did was we abandoned the home.
You catch that? Most of the homeless were not homeless 5 years ago. That's because of the increased price in living cost. That pretty much no matter your job, no matter how well it pays, you cannot afford to live anywhere near the area you work. We're on the tipping... My area is on the tipping point of that. There's people working as much as they possibly can find hours, and they're still barely making ends meet. You know, all thanks to our lovely politicians. Or I guess I should say lawyers. Okay, so the county, and I'm sure the cities as well, have lawyers that their main job is to look at the legality of any action the politicians want to take. Alright? So you would think, you know, there would be some stop, but no. Because I've come across a few of them, granted not all of them, but I've yet to come across an honest lawyer. They're even going to screw the person paying them any way they can. But the lawyers will look at what I say up at Commissioner's Court. They will scrutinize pretty much every word and only look for the things that they can use against me. Not that, oh, he's making sense. Okay, how can we turn his words against him or prevent him from speaking because we don't like what he says? Let's find some fallacy in what he's doing before we find anything wrong with ourselves. That is what's happening. I don't know if it's happening to anyone else, but I know it's happening to me. You know. So, I mean, again, there's a reason Wilco's known for corruption. Is that I really think anybody that is in office or a lawyer is, you know, corrupt as can be. And I'm standing up to it, and they don't like that. Screw it.
Homeless policy that was actually working when the new administration came in. Under Gavin Newsom, there was a very effective homeless policy, but when the new administration came in, many of those people got pushed to the streets, especially with some of those larger income jobs. And you find the last time you and I spoke, we talked...
Larger income jobs. That's a person from California. So that means in my immediate area, that's the high end of anyone being paid.
About, you know, focusing on the middle income. Well, the middle income in San Francisco and the lower income people, there's a very small delta between those people because the lower income people are living in lower rent apartments because they've been there for a longer time and they're protected. And then you get these Twitter people that are coming in and making $150,000 to $200,000 a year who are also living paycheck to paycheck because they're paying for the same apartments they're paying.
$150,000 a year and living to paycheck. Right now, I get, I think, a little over $7,000 a year. And there's people that are getting, you know, 20 times that. What, 21 or so times that. And living paycheck to paycheck.
$5,000 or $6,000.
Well, I think everything you're saying is clearly right. I mean, the housing shortage and the geography of the city makes it always a tight housing market. But I also am asking a more basic question about what the leaders of the city care about. If you walk to work and you see people degrading themselves, defecating on the street, shooting up, why wouldn't that horrify you to the point that you would drop what you're doing and fix it? And instead, they're lecturing the rest of us about how we're immoral because we don't want more illegal aliens in the state of California. It just seems like their priority is totally backward. They don't care about their own people. Why wouldn't you reach that conclusion?
Well, I don't think it's that they don't care. I think the problem is that they don't know how to fix it. Some of the progressive values in San Francisco, you know, is that what they do as some of these politicians is that they create new institutions, new entitlements around problems that they see because old departments and new departments as well, but old departments aren't solving the specific problems. The Department of Health, for example, which has a $3 billion budget in San Francisco, that was the entire city budget not 15, 20 years ago. And now we're up to $10 billion, actually probably just over $10 billion. But what, as
Just, wow. Alright, it's going to be a different video for me. Same old continuous video for you. Be back in, I guess according to you, a second. Alright, I don't know, at this point in time, for me, I don't know if this is going to be the last video. but I think this was. I don't know if this is this guy's video he took. I think this might have been from someone who goes in this area of, Anaheim, California, and cooks a little bit for the homeless. But the point is, the guy makes the point. It's essentially a small city of homeless. There's that many. And it's all because living costs are raised. Living costs are raised because, hey, politicians wanted to use taxpayer money and approve developments, be it business building or expensive housing. And what I say expensive is 250 plus. I think that's expensive. And that is pretty much the minimum in my area that you're going to pay. I think when I decided to go, I didn't do a huge investigation, but I think the cheapest was right around $200,000. And there's only like one, maybe two houses. I really think it was one. 200,000, and they're all mostly 250, 300,000 plus. And that is for maybe an acre and a horribly built 2-story house, if that. There's people paying $10,000 a year in taxes. You heard me. $10,000 a year in taxes. Now, I don't know what it is in your area who's not watching this, but in my area, that is, wow. And they're not getting anything special. They're getting the same stuff I get, and they're paying a little less than twice what I am. It's whoa. What job do they have where they can make $10,000 a year tax payments plus uh, housing association bills and anything that attaches to? But anyway, again, this is something else that I'm trying to prevent. I'm not saying, oh, a homeless person is not worth my time. All right, I'm saying this is what people are being forced into. We saw, I think it was that first video at the end of that. They're talking about 100 people made $150,000 a year, and they're on the streets now. I make about 7. I think my total house income might be 20 something. Maybe. So things increase too much. No matter what we do, we're going to wind up homeless. And here I am trying to prevent anyone from being homeless. I'm trying to find any way I can to do that. Tell politicians, look, you're fucking up. Stop it. You're fucking up. Stop it. And they want to pick my words like, oh, well, you said this one thing and it's in our policy. Well, you know what? I planned to say it. I had to say it. And I'm talking about where I told them STFU. And I think they think I was trying to get under their nose about it. I thought they would catch on right away. If I want to get under their nose, I would have spelled it phonetically because I really think they're that stupid. And then, if anything, I could weasel my way out of it by saying, no, I said 4 words. I cannot help if they start with those letters. And other things start with those same letters. But I didn't. Because I'm not hiding. I don't hide. I mean, California's our future. We're taking the same path California did 30 years ago.
I hate to do this, but today I got a pretty disturbing video for you. it's not disturbing because there's any kind of crazy violence in it or anything like that, but it's disturbing because this is a scene from Anaheim, California that looks like it's a scene from a third world country. Now, this video is shot on a bike path or just a walking path in Anaheim, California, right by where the Anaheim Angels play and where the Anaheim Mighty Ducks play, and it's pretty horrific to look at, man. I mean, I'm looking at some images on Google Maps and Google Earth, and I will show you where it starts and where the biker goes up and turns around. The distance from one point to another is about 1.6 miles, and the amount of tents and homeless people that you see in this
And
video
that's just a 2-mile
is
thin
just disgusting.
stretch
Doing a
of an
little
area.
research here, I also found out that California has the highest poverty rate per capita in America. They also have over 1/4 of the nation's total homeless population, which is roughly at 114,000. Now, this is just messed up, man. I'm not going to get all political, but it's pretty easy to figure out how this happened. Instead, I'm just going to leave you with a couple of the images so you can get an idea of where this video was taken and just the short amount of space the biker travels and how many homeless people and how many tents you see. So take a look. If you can't, try and count the tents, because I tried twice. I lost count. It's just insane. So this is the kind of problems we got in America, but you know, there's some people out there who think we just need to let in all these refugees, just let all these people in when we can't even feed and house people that we already got here. So just a little something to think about, and I'm going to cut this off before I start getting real political. So check the video out. Let me know what you think in the comments. I will see you later.
You only have so long to experience an amazing summer. On Groupon from July 24th through July 28th, you can fill your summer with unforgettable
Later. Peace.
So, I guess I'll play one more video. I don't know what it's about precisely, except it says poverty in California liberalism is turning the state into a majority nightmare, a major nightmare. But yeah, this goes on for the entire video. What you see on the side there, you know, I can't tell if that would be a house or looks like it might be apartments, but you know, right there. You know, those people are probably paying an assload of money for that stuff. So you can see up here at the top, it like the guy says, it goes on. Alright, let's see what this video is about.
California became the nation's first sanctuary state in January. The law prohibits police from cooperating with or detaining criminal aliens for ICE.
With thousands living in close proximity on Skid Row, hygiene is always an issue. But with an official outbreak of hepatitis A, it's now a necessity. Just before midnight on March 3rd, Anderson was driving his semi-truck on I-70 when police say he was hit and killed. The man charged with Anderson's death is Ivan Zamarripa Castaneda. He's an undocumented immigrant out on bond, wanted by ICE.
The Golden State has lost its glow, obviously. California now has more poverty than any state. Homelessness is completely out of control. State officials are still focused on protecting illegal immigrants from deportation rather than any of the problems the state faces, including the flight of...
Alright, and we're getting that. Alright, that's really our start of our immediate area. There's people coming from California, moving here, living here now, or from other counties and definitely cities that are going, do more for these people than you do for your own citizens. Alright, don't get me wrong. Feel free to take that part out of context. You know, don't deal with this next part I'm saying. I would love to have open arms. Say, hey, I know you come from a bad place. Come here. We're going to take care of you. But we can't take care of ourselves. Alright? We're nowhere near being able to take care of ourselves. Alright? Wilco is 540 something thousand people. All right. Uh, as of 2016, it takes about an acre of food per person. So that's, you know, at this point in time, a guaranteed 550,000 people or acres needed to feed the people. And that leaves, based on the census of 2016, like only 170 square miles uh, of to do whatever that you don't need for food or anything like that. But some of that takes up roads, all right, and then buildings, and then dwellings people live in. So you don't even have 170 square miles to live in. You know, and I didn't do math beyond that of how much roads we have. You know, because that's not just our roads. It's not just the state roads. That's national roads, highways. And, oh, I guess that's all the national roads there are. But yeah, and then there's parking lots. You know, so yeah, it's nowhere near 170 miles we can play with. You know, love to have open arms, but we have people that are becoming homeless and they're working multiple jobs. Some of those people becoming homeless are first responders. And, uh, you know, veterans. Myself is on the verge of being homeless because of these. Now, between what I get from the VA and the other income from the house, we can currently get by. All right. But if the taxes increase too much, then we're fucked. You know? And the reason why I'm only mentioning taxes for myself is our property and house is paid off, as well as vehicles. Oh, that's another thing. More people to hire insurance for anything is not just your vehicle. Talked to the insurance guy the other day. You know, it's car tax increased. I don't know what percent, but I think it was almost $600. It might have been 7 something, but I know there's 6 something. You know, and can be fired at any point in time. So yeah.
It's entire middle class. It's a sad picture. One man who sees
Let's
it
build
clearly,
more
he's been
for
there a
more
long
people to
time,
move
actor
into.
model Fabio. He's the immigrant to the state, but not one of those state officials care about. Fabio joins us tonight. So, Fabio, thanks for coming on. I want to read. I don't live there anymore, but I read about California every day. Here are 2 headlines. Tell me if they sum up what it's like now. This is just from the other day. Orange County homeless camp cleanup, 400 tons of debris, 14,000 needles, 5,000 pounds of human waste. Here's the second. California lowers the penalty for knowingly exposing someone to HIV. It sounds chaotic and dirty. Is that your experience?
Yeah, well, let me tell you something right now about California. It looks like a wild, wild west. And don't look farther than the leaders of California, Jerry Brown, Levy, the mayor of Oakland. You know, yes. Jerry Brown.
You know, yeah, they're liberals, all right, and you know, we have politicians here in Texas, here in Wilco, that at least claim to be Republicans, all right, but their actions say otherwise. So that's another reason why I don't assign myself to any party. There's some things I say, hey, you know, who cares? Do what you want with that. There's some things that I am very conservative about. You know, that would put me in the far, far right of the given subject. And there's some things where I can see that side, I can see this side, I understand it. There's no easy answer. You know, I'm not, because, you pick one side, all right, right or left, Republican or Democrat, uh, you know, you're signed to that party. You're paying to that party. And what all of a sudden they want to do something that you don't agree with? Well, publicly, you have to agree with that. And I think that's a large part of how Trump was elected. I'm not going into what I like, don't like, and I'm not saying what I like, don't like about Hillary. But there was Republicans that didn't like Trump, but they publicly had to speak in favor of him because he's claiming to be their party. You know, and same thing with Hillary. Or really any politician. You got to pretty much publicly agree with that because you're signed to that party. Well, let's see what this says.
Proposition 4757, Bill 109, it took totally the side of the criminals. Is when on a criminal side, totally turn his back on law enforcement. And, the leaders of California, they're acting criminals. They're acting like criminals. So what you expect the rest of the people are going to do? Then you have the mayor of Oakland who totally tell
so is it above as it is below, or so is it below as it is above.
So instead to do over 900 arrests, they only arrest about, I think, 120, 130 people. Then you have, the homeless. The homeless, if you go downtown Los Angeles, I'm telling you, Tucker, it's like, I've been around the world. I remember being 30 years ago in Africa. Africa doesn't look like that. It's unbelievable. Not even third world country 30 years ago look like California right now, like downtown. You go down to the library. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, it's like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's
in the library.
It's in the library. I mean, you should do a total segment on the library, a public library downtown Los Angeles, and I'm telling you,
even gives them a working title.
It's like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Only Californian librarians would put up with that. So,
Yes.
what year did you get to California? When did you move there?
About in 92.
92. So
But now, now I
It's
just
changed.
go back and forth because I live in Washington. Because I'm telling you, it's like the California leaders, they totally destroyed the middle class in California.
Yes.
The majority of the California is broken. You have a few wealthy people, about 5,700 people pay almost 40%, 37% exactly, of the entire California income tax.
It's
Because
unbelievable.
California is broke.
It's unbelievable.
On top of that, let me tell you, it's unbelievable. On top
Well,
of that, every single
Yeah.
company is running away because of tax reason, and including the movie industry.
Of course
shoot
they are.
Every single movie outside of California.
We're going to be there soon. We're bringing the show to California, and we will see you then. Fabio, thank you. Hang in there.
Thank you so much.
I can't agree with everything Tucker says, but I love I want to hear more. I want to ask more questions, but the time, I don't know if he has a web thing or not, but I imagine if he did a web thing, each one will be 10 hours long. The guy would get no sleep. So, whether you like him or not, it's hard work to be a reporter, and it's like you get no sleep because he's having 10-hour conversations with these people. Let's see what this is.
Tonight, a city in California made history voting to break away from California's sanctuary law. The Los Alamitos Council voted 4-1 to opt out of a new law limiting cooperation with law enforcement and ICE. City Council member and a former mayor of the town, Shelley Hasselbrink, voted last night. She joins us live from LA. Shelley, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so we've heard so much about this trend out in California. First it was sanctuary cities, then California became a sanctuary state.
And we looked at that, based on our oath of office, that we took our oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States and also the Constitution of California. And when those two conflicted, as SB 54 did conflict, we had to go look back at Article 6 of the Constitution, where the law of the land prevails with the federal government.
Sure.
So based on that,
A lot of people, Shelley, looking in from other parts of the country where the state of California, because they've got this sanctuary law, you know, they can decide, okay, we're gonna follow that law, but we're not gonna follow that law, which just seems crazy.
right, exactly.
All right, so it seems like the rest of that, we all know what it's going to be. All right, this will be the last bit. Thank you for watching July Special 2, I think? I don't know, I'll have to look.
Everybody in the club wanna make poop. Everybody in the car wanna make poop. Everybody going on a date, make poop.
If you've been there recently, you might consider this impossible, but San Francisco's problem with filth is actually getting worse. Of course, for years, it has been covered with needles and human waste, but this week, residents have been complaining about the stench of a staggering 20-pound bag of feces, human feces, I hate even to say it, but it's real, left on a sidewalk. Finally, the city is paying the price for this chaos. A major medical convention is moving to a different city. They're citing health risks to it.
Oh, my bad. It's a medical convention. I thought it was a... Well, I guess that kind of is a business. But I was wrong. So, yeah. You know, but still.
Attendees. Kimberly Brown Peltzer is a longtime actress, and she's now a Republican candidate for California's 36th Congressional District, and she joins us tonight. Thank you so much for coming on. You've been in California.
No, thank you for having me.
Well, it's just sad. As someone who loves California, I know that you do too, having been there an awfully long time.
Right.
It takes a lot to destroy a city like San Francisco. How did this happen?
You know what, Tucker, I'm third generation California born and raised, and this is not the California I came from, or you for that matter. I know you're a Southern California boy, but, you know, Prop 47, once that passed, and you could actually steal anything, $950 below, the homeless have been flocking to the state of California.
That was the proposition for our viewers who don't follow it. That was a proposition that made low-level crimes not crimes, basically. Anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can tell you, on a personal level, I have people coming into my stores on a regular basis, stealing items that my employees are later finding on Craigslist, and the police can't do anything about it. They say they won't show up, because where do you send a ticket for someone who's homeless? They simply don't show up any longer, and they've made crime okay in the state of California. And in San Francisco, where you're talking about, I mean, that's Pelosi's back.
Oh, I guess it was 40 million. I thought it was 80. Sorry, I guess I was wrong in almost all accounts except the medical. I was close.
Backyard.
Yes.
And she is part of that liberal agenda that is driving California down the path that it's going. And Raul Ruiz, who I'm running against, is doing the exact same thing. They don't understand what's happening in California because they want to turn the other way.
Well, and they're totally in their bubbles. I mean, what's interesting is that San Francisco is one of the richest places, not just in the world, but in all of human history. And yet it has the most filth on the sidewalk and the most people living outside. I mean, I find it totally bizarre. Do they not notice it, do you think?
Well, I just don't think that they care. They're trying to attract people to California to keep their voter base popular. And I can tell you, this is not the California that we want any longer. We need change here desperately. My employees every single morning have to go out and clean the feces, the needles. They have to try to get people who are homeless to move. People are afraid to come to businesses any longer in the state of California. And just like you said, as far as conventions coming to California, that's a big industry here. And that's changing as well. They're not paying attention. They're not listening. And they're going to have to here very soon, or we're going to continue down this road.
It took centuries to build that state, and they've wrecked it so fast. Kimberly, thank you, and good luck in your race. I'm suddenly rooting for you. That was great. Good to talk to you.
Well, good to see you, Tucker. You take care.
Everybody in the club.